Manu a big round of applause. Yeah, I like you in the back. Good.
Hear me? Okay, and now. All right. Yeah, welcome everyone. I'm going to talk a little bit about trust networks and what I'm seeing how basically trust is evolving um, with the rise of blockchains. And let's wait a second maybe until we get the slides on. All right. So yeah, I'm Manu, and I'm one of the founding members of Blockravers. So first of all, let's talk about trust. What is trust? Trust, this is what I just asked ChatGPT quickly just to tell me. Trust involves a willingness to rely on actions, words, or decisions of another party with the expectation that they will behave in a reliable, honest, and a competent manner. So for me, trust, the way that I see it, is that sometimes, like if we're in a known place and we want to go to an unknown place, we have to ride into a lot of uncertainty. And for us to get from that known place to that unknown place, we need to have some sort of trust. Whether it's trust in the machine that is taking us from the place A to place B, or whether it's the person that is connecting us with person A to person B, we always require trust in order to move from one place to another. So I believe that trust is the lubricant for society. And why is that? Because I think that the main cause or drivers of trust are for people to feel that they can trust in someone, or they can trust, let's say, on an institution or something. There has to be first competence, that you believe that they're able to do what they say that they could do. The second one, authenticity. And that means that they experience that you're real, or that that organization is real. And the other one is empathy, that basically that the organization or the individuals, that they show that they care about your success, that they care about your well-being. And without any of these three elements, basically there wouldn't be any form of trust. So how can we increase trust in our society? Humans, we have created different protocols. A simple protocol that we do is shaking hands. Another protocol that we do is clink cups and say cheers. Do any of you know what's the story behind clinking glasses? No? Okay, so basically what happened when the monarchs received someone that visited them, and they brought, let's say, some wine or brought something to drink, they would pour something in the glass of the person that brought the wine, and they will drink it first before the monarch. So as a show of trust, if the monarch trusted the person that was bringing the wine, rather than making them drink, they would clink the glasses and then drink together at the same time. So that evolves as a form of saying, I trust you. And basically, we humans, we have been incorporating all of these different protocols for creating trust. Another one, recent one, people doing pinky promises and just putting their pinky fingers around. So one thing that I learned about trust, thanks to this game, that I encourage you to scan this QR code and play this game whenever you have time, to understand how trust evolves in society and how trust evolves with different players in this game that we call life. So some of the learnings from game theory is that for trust to increase, we need to have repetitive interactions. And for that also we need to create possible win-win situations. And we need to reduce the opportunity for miscommunications. And by doing this, we basically can increase trust. And why am I talking about trust? I'm talking about trust is because we are creating trustless protocols in a society where trust is needed. So yeah, trust has evolved over time. So imagine when we were at Thrive, or when we were not, let's say, necessarily living in big cities. First, we had a form of trust where it was local, person to person, peer to peer, individual to individual within a tribe. Then, when we grew too big, we needed to delegate that trust because we couldn't rely on the trust person to person anymore. So we had to have something that we call the institutions to basically behave as a proxy for trust. So they will enforce, let's say, some rules into the population, and that will generate some trust within this new society or with this form of humans that are coming together. The thing is that most of these institutions, the way that they've been built, they're very opaque. And right now, many of us don't trust any of the institutions. People don't trust governments anymore. People don't trust religion anymore. People don't trust pretty much any institution. We don't know what's real anymore. And with the rise of AI, even more. What is real? Is it basically what the people that have money that are able to use, let's say, AI and create different narratives and create different stories? Is that the new real? Well, now we need to question more and more what trust is and how do we create trust in this new society. And I think the way of doing it is by creating, again, peer-to-peer, going back to the roots, one-to-one in a distributed manner. And that's what I call the rise of trust networks or distributed trust networks. So if we talk about the institutions are very opaque, very close, centralized. Usually they're licensed, they're top-down, while distributed, let's say, forms of trust should be transparent, inclusive, decentralized, accountable, and bottom-up. But many people in the Web3 space, they think that we are in the distributed side, while in reality, we're not there at all. We're way more in the institutional side. Why? Well, ask around. Most of the DAOs are very opaque as well. Not necessarily because they're a DAO, they're open and transparent and actually doing, let's say, something good for the community, but rather enclosing and centralizing and making decisions closed door most of the time. So I really believe that the future is actually to create new systems that are that the trust is distributed among different participants. So now, in this age of platforms, we need, if we want to go to a known place to an unknown place, and we are, let's say, in a marketplace, for example, if we are in a marketplace, you need to trust the other user that you're interacting with. You need to trust the platform itself. You need to trust the idea. And you need to trust many other things that people sometimes don't question themselves. And you need to ride on all this uncertainty. So, as I said before, we are creating trustless systems, but hey, they are not completely trustless. You still need to trust. You are trusting the systems, actually, that you're using. So, if we talk about trust, what trust is needed? So if we talk about, for example, I'm originally from Venezuela. So if we want to talk about Bitcoin being used in Venezuela, we need to rely on first having energy. Sometimes we have 8 hours without energy. So damn, how can we transact with that network if we don't have energy? We still need to rely on the trust of having energy. We need to rely on the trust of having hardware that will run this software. Consensus mechanisms, the different tokenomics of the different projects that we're using, the regulatory environment that we're trusting, the oracles and the data that we're trusting, the different security elements that are being implemented for safeguarding the different protocols, the privacy and anonymity of the protocol. Do they really have it? Also, the community trust. The protocol trusts itself when it comes to emission of different incentives. You also are trusting the core team of the different projects that you're using most of the time. You're trusting the DAO, or you're trusting the whales, or you're trusting the stakeholders, or you're trusting many different people. So as you see, this is not a trustless system as everyone talks about. Mostly it's a lot of marketing. So we need to rethink what the heck is trust, because trust is very complex. So yeah, fuck, very complex. So why trust is important to Blockravers? So for those that don't know what Blockravers is a community that has been for the last 5 years traveling the world, having fun together with friends. And we have created a group that is self-curated. And we're going to talk a little bit about the experiments on how we got until what it is today. So yeah, it started back in DevCon Osaka in 2019. And in 2022, we had already over 500 people wanting to join the group and just to party and enjoy the community that we have been creating where we trust each other. So in ETHDenver in 2023, last year, we did a party, and in that party we invited only people that we vouch for to the party. And the people that were vouched for the party, we were asked to the voucher, hey, do you really vouch for this person? And then if they say yes, we will accept them, and then they will be able to come to the party. Why? With the idea of creating, let's say, some sort of accountability of who is inviting the different people to our party. So somehow one day we're partying, and then at the end of the party, we come and we see a wall, and there's a graffiti on the wall, and we're like, damn, this was an Airbnb, so we had to pay for that. And we're like, okay, how do we do it? Well, we started looking at the different people that were that night with us, and we sent a message in the group, hey, somebody did a graffiti, and then somebody sent us a DM and said, hey, actually, the person that made the graffiti, I heard that it was a friend of mine, and I will take responsibility of it. I will pay for it. I will do whatever it takes to making it right. I don't want to be kicked out of the community. The guy was supposed to go to Breckenridge together with us and stay in the same house. So he was scared that we were going to kick him out for inviting someone bad to our community. So he was, coming out there and saying, you know what? I'm going to take responsibility of this. So we realized that this is actually super interesting, how we can create systems where the community members are accountable for each other. We don't need someone to police us if we are all having trust between each other and we are all observing how we are all behaving. So in Susalu, we did something, we did an experiment. We told people, if you want to come to our party, come and meet us in person, and we're going to give you a Venezuelan bolivar that has no monetary value, but it has something that makes it very unique, and that is the serial number, and also let's say the different things that the bill has to make it unique, so you can see it against the light and so on. So if you think about it, the bill is kind of like an NFT. It's a very unique, very, very unique, let's say, object that is difficult to falsify, let's say. So we say, okay, come and meet us in person, grab the bill, and instead of me giving them an identity and saying this is you, you're gonna come with the bill and you're gonna take us a picture with the bill and you're gonna say this is me. And basically we created like a social graph with all the serial numbers of the different people that were connecting with each other. So for the people to be able to come to our party, they had to have 3 vouchers. So people within the community, they had to vouch for each other. So once they achieved and they had 3 vouchers that they were cool vibes to come to the party, then they could come. And we started doing these experiments and these games. Why? With the intention of creating some form of accountability within the community. We also had this type of system where if someone that you invite, let's say, harass a woman or does something bad, that person that is harassing gets kicked out, but the person that invited them gets a yellow card. And then on the second yellow card, they also get kicked out. So basically, we are creating like systems or ways of creating accountability within communities. And we need to start focusing on that IRL and also obviously online. And yeah, with this experiment, we actually won the hackathon in Susalu during the Public Goods Week. At SuConnect, we did another experiment. Together with the Ethereum Foundation, we work and we did something that was called Jobmojis. Jobmojis was literally just an NFC card that had a counter inside the NFC card, and every time that you will come with your phone, you will tap it, and it will generate proof that you met the person in real life. And that proof was unique because of the counter that it had. Every time that another person will come with their phone, the counter will go up, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it will generate a new signature every time. So like that, you could create, let's say, snapshots of all the different people that you're connecting with, and then you can start saying, okay, I trust that guy a little bit when it comes to, let's say, math, because he shows me that he resolved a mathematical problem, or let's say I trust the other person in cryptography, or I trust the other person when it comes to marketing and stuff like that. So you can start creating a social graph where you define what are those different elements of trust that you have in different individuals. And then you can also start revealing part of your identity to those different individuals. Let's say that I get to know you for the first time. I might give you only my email, my Telegram. And then if we start developing a relationship, I might give you, let's say in a week, I might give you my Instagram. And start revealing more parts of my identity with zero knowledge proof. And basically, I can start removing or creating different accesses to people that I trust. And not only that, I can also connect, let's say, people that trust me. I can create kind of like a social graph that will enable me to connect with my friends and their friends and the people that they trust. So like that, we can create new systems. Let's say the couch surfing model, where people were going to different couches and staying at different places, also like Airbnb models. We can do so many new forms of trust networks that are actually decentralized. So Blockravers in the future. What is Blockravers in the future? Well, the last few months, I've been understanding more and more that trust is so complex that even though I've been studying and analyzing a lot, I'm still failing. I'm still failing in identifying, let's say, patterns that make me, let's say I shouldn't trust this person or I shouldn't trust that other person. I'm still making mistakes all the time. And I'm sure we're going to continue creating mistakes all the time. But yeah, I believe that in the future, the way that we're going to create these new systems of trust has to be with this social graph of people, peer-to-peer, and also it will be very contextual. If we start putting a number to trust, then basically we're going to fall into creating a social score, which is not necessarily what I'm advocating for. What I'm advocating for is creating, let's say, different forms of social graphs that are very contextual, and it will depend on each individual, and each individual will decide who are the different persons or who are the different, let's say, oracles or APIs that they trust. So yeah, that's basically what I came to you to talk about, trust networks. And if you want to learn more, please reach out. And if you want to be part of the Blockravers crew, scan this QR code. That's it. Thanks, everyone.